So, welcome everybody to Tech Wednesday. Whee! Oh, a nice cheer. Excited crowd. Oh, a round of applause. Yes, this is what we like. So, join in. We have the hashtag TechWeds. As you see, we have this wonderful, snazzy Twitter feed going on here. So, pop your comments on, and they should go through there throughout the night. It's a really good way as well to give yourself a little shout out and to kind of say, hey, make sure you come and catch me during pizzas after, a little bit what you're about, which is absolutely brilliant. So, who is here for the first time? Ooh, lots of new hands, very exciting. How many of you have come because of a letter you got in the post? Oh, interesting. I know you may be thinking, what the heck, letters in the post, but you'll be surprised. It's actually very effective, believe it or not. I think they've gone so the other way. People don't know what to do when they see a letter nowadays. It's quite exciting. So, yeah, okay. None of you got that. If you do ever get a letter in a post, it means you get to have a one-day free hot desking package here for the day, and you get to have a great little catch-up with, excuse me, one of our guys. Abdul, can you give us a wave? Abdul at the back, he looks after one of our incubator projects, and he gets to talk to you and provide you with advice and support as to how you can grow your business. So keep an eye out. Now, this is a very snazzy little chart we've got. We know networking can be a bit of a scary place. Well done. You've already made it through the first half of the evening. First half of networking's over. For some of you, you'll be very excited. Some of you will be very nervous about it, but there's more networking to come. So, if that fills you with dread, do not worry. We've tried to make your life a little bit easier. We've got these snazzy little stickers. The point of this is to help you realize who you're chatting with, who you're talking with, and try and make your network a bit more effectively as well, because we've all got goals and things we need to try and do. So if you're into hiring, you might be hiring for a new team, you might be expanding your new team, you might be helping in recruitment, you've probably got orange. If you're into business and marketing, such as myself, I've got blue. If you're a developer, highly sought after, red sticker. Looking for opportunities, most of us have yellow, because why else would we be at an innovation-led event? Or if you're a startup or running a business, you are green. But my personal favorite are the gold stars. So we should have lots of gold stars tonight. That means it is your first time. So make sure you speak to a gold star member, make sure they feel welcome. Get to know as much as you can about them, and a very warm welcome to you first-timers. So, just a little bit about Innovation Birmingham. I won't go on too long because we've got two fantastic speakers tonight, each giving 20-minute slots. I know it's a bit longer than normal, but they've both got two amazing presentations, and we just thought we'd give them a bit more floor time. Both of them are actually from our meetup group and Tech Wednesday goers. One of our speakers, it's his first time. So, you know, no pressure there. First time I'm just speaking. It's pretty ballsy. But here at Innovation Birmingham, we're all about seeing businesses with great ideas succeed and grow. And we do that in a number of ways. We've got office space. We've got desk space for people who just need to drop in from time to time. We've got meeting rooms, event hire, and a range of business support. The business support activity we do is so varied and different because no two businesses are the same, and they all need different types of support, different types of engagement, access to different types of markets and clients. So our three main projects we run to help us make that organized is we've got E4F, Serendip, and Innovation Engine. What I'm going to do is just get these guys to just stand up, give you a wave one by one, and if you want to know more about them, the advice and support that they can offer, whether it be free desk space, mentoring, access to investment, pitch training, more events, workshops, that sort of thing. Make sure you chat to these guys because there really is a lot of advice and support they have to offer. And the best news is it's all free, so definitely worth it. So Naomi, can you give us a little wave? Stand up. If you want to talk about business incubation, she's the one to talk about. We've got Valentina at the front here. Give us a wave. Valentina looks after Innovation Engine, and what their project is all about is giving small businesses the opportunity to work with bigger, larger businesses in private and public sector. So if you're looking for access to markets and that sort of thing, Valentina's definitely your gal. And then Serendip, Valentina's is also good. We haven't actually got a Serendip representative tonight, but you can definitely talk to me. My name's Pia, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have about that. So without further ado, I am very excited to welcome our first speaker, Stuart. Can we give him a round of applause?
Thank you, Pia.
Very good. So before you start, I thought it'd be fabulous if you could just give us a quick introduction to who you are, what you're about, and what you do.
Okay. Can I stand on the stage? I'm lots higher than all of you now. Oh, I do need that. Thank you, yes. Hello, my name's Stuart Langridge. I'm from here in Birmingham, and my firm is called Cryogenics Consulting. I'm a software consultant, basically. People pull me into, if you're thinking about putting together a software project, or you're a startup or something like that, pull me in. If you want all the whiteboard stuff at the beginning of a thing, help put everything together, so on and so forth, that's what I do. But I'm not really here to talk about me. I'm here. The title of my talk is The UX of Text. 17,000 years ago, the world's first modern French person stood in a cave and tried to think of a way of telling us, 300 generations in the future, what they were thinking about, what was on their mind. There was the survival of the tribe, the majesty of the animals that shared the world they were in, the glory of the hunt, the rocks, the trees, the stars in the sky. And they wrote it down. They drew it as best they could. The pictures are the cave paintings at Lascaux in southern France. This is the great bull. It's 17 feet long. It's the largest cave art animal anywhere in the world. These are the crossed bison. Now, you can tell from this something about how they viewed the world. They understood perspective. Here you've got the idea of representing a three-dimensional world in a two-dimensional way. 4,000 years ago, an unknown author wrote down the story of the king of Uruk. It's a city in what's now Iraq. And he opened it like this: I will proclaim to the world the deeds of Gilgamesh. This was the man to whom all things were known. He knew the countries of the world. He was wise. He saw mysteries and secret things. He brought a tale of the days before the flood. He went on a long journey. He was weary. He was worn out with labor. Returning, he rested. He engraved on a stone the whole story. That's the stone. It's the first tablet of the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's the world's first surviving work of literature. Gilgamesh was 2/3 god and 1/3 man. He fought the monster Humumba. He saw eternal life. He's famous enough to receive the ultimate accolade. 400 years into our own future, Jean-Luc Picard tells his story to Dathan at Eladril. The French chap, he liked animals. We don't know a lot else about him. What's the difference? Words. Words are good. When we interact with computers at the moment, we tend to point and click. We point at little pictures, like a caveman, right? When we talk to one another, when I'm talking to you here, when you're networking, when you're talking to friends, when you're working with things, we talk to one another with words, pure, unvarnished text. There'll be some of you who are thinking, oh God, what he means by words is this, the command line, right? This is not what I mean. Do not worry. Every one of you, I'm sure, will be familiar with the whole, computer says no thing. The issue we have is that when we ask people to talk to computers, we tend to require that they speak computerese. And it doesn't work. Most people don't speak computerese. People like me, development people, may be able to, but most people do not. It's not a natural thing to do. It's not a reasonable thing to do. We've avoided that largely by not having people actually have a conversation at all. You just point at a little picture. But there's a better way. Now, importantly, we don't want to try and make computers pretend to be humans. Right? Computers are really, really, really spectacularly bad at pretending to be humans. The Turing test has been around for a long time. No one's even close to passing it. But the point is that you don't need to. What we need is that if you've got an app or a project and you want people to interact with it, if you've got a mobile app or you've got a website or something like that, when people are interacting with it, they can interact with it with language instead of just by pointing and clicking. But when they're doing that, they're interacting with a computer and they know they're interacting with a computer. You're not pretending to be a person, but even though they're interacting with a computer, they don't have to talk to it like a computer. It's possible to have a personality without being a person. A little story. How many of you have got an Amazon Echo or something like it? Reasonable portion of you. When I got my first one, I did all the usual stuff, you know, Alexa, what's the weather like? And Alexa, play Roads by Portishead, and this sort of thing. You know, Alexa, what's on my calendar for tomorrow? And it was playing music, and I got a phone call. And so I picked up the phone call, started talking, and music was still playing. And without thinking about it, I turned it and went, Alexa, shut up. And it did. And I was blown away, but I actually felt guilty that I'd been mean to it, right? I was blown away. This is how you make your systems come alive. You have a personality without being a person. What we want to do is we want to help people have conversations with the thing that you've created. As I say, whether that's an app or a service or something like that, we want to help people have a conversation. They've got a goal, they want to meet it. So you lead them through the path. If they ask for something to happen, you make that happen, you tell them that it's happened, or you say, that can't quite happen, so maybe we could do this instead. You're planning a way for someone to go from, I've had an idea, to that idea has been fulfilled. And if that sounds familiar, it should do, because this is everything you're doing already. You're creating a user journey, you're doing interaction design, you're considering the user experience. That's exactly the same thing you're doing right now. The point is that it doesn't have to be about graphics. User experience is not just how round the buttons are on your website. There's lots more to it than that. Designing the user experience applies to everything. But now it's about language. It's about leading people through a conversation to help them achieve what they want and achieve what you want. How do you ask questions of someone that clarifies their intent? If someone asks you a thing you don't know how to deal with it, you don't want to put up syntax error, because a person wouldn't do that. What you want to do is help them get the thing they want to have happen. You know, it's about how do you express that personality through language? How do you, when someone tries to do something, guide them down the path you want? We don't need artists for that. We need poets. We need people who are good with language. So this language, this conversation that I've talked about, where does it take place? Now, I've already mentioned one place, Alexa. And the important point is there are actually two completely separate places. The first one is indeed Alexa. The home assistants seems to be the general term for them. So you've got Amazon's Echo, which is Alexa. You've got Google Home and Google Assistant on people's phones. You've got Siri, and now the new HomePod, Mycroft. There's a bunch of these things. But there's also a completely separate place where conversation takes place, and that's messaging applications. Facebook Messenger, or WhatsApp, Slack. How many of you are on WhatsApp? Facebook Messenger? Another chat app? Another 5 chat apps? You see the point. But that's what, here are 2 completely different platforms. So you've got Home Assistants here, messaging apps here, but importantly, they're 2 completely different platforms that everybody's already using. So if they're already there using these things, why shouldn't they be using them to talk to you, to work with your software or your application or your system or your service? That's a huge potential user base. And one of the beauties of this kind of thing is that there's no installation. There's no thing where they have to step out of what they're doing and go into the App Store and search for your name and then click install and then wait for it to install and then decide to add it to their home screen. No one has to look at your poster and remember your URL or fish the URL back out of the email that got sent to them. This stuff, it's all just there. Interacting with a new thing on Alexa, there's no installation step at all. You just say, Alexa, ask Stuart's great app where I can buy sausage rolls. And it tells you. That's it. No installation, no setup, nothing. Messaging applications, everyone's in them all day. All they've got to do is just send a message to a new contact. There's no step where you break people's flow. There's no place where they have to step away from what they're doing to get involved with you. So those of you who have built mobile apps in the past or have worked with mobile apps, published them, will have some sense of how difficult it is to get on people's home screen. But if you're dealing with this type of conversational platform, you're already on their home screen because their home screen is everything they can say out loud. You're already there. The beauty of this is that those two different platforms I've just described, messaging applications, home assistants, they're quite different in the way that people think about them, but they're actually very similar from a development, deployment, understanding services point of view, because they're just a conversation. And once you've built that conversational setup, that conversational technique, that way of interacting with your service or your bit of software or whatever, you can then plug it in to everywhere. So you can build it, put it on Alexa, no problem. And then you can also bring that to Google Home and to HomePod and to Mycroft and to Google Assistant on people's phones, possibly to Siri. So you've got this really wide set of users. And then exactly the same conversational interface is available, and you can bring it to WhatsApp and to Facebook Messenger and to Telegram and to Slack and to every one of the other different sets of messaging applications and so on that people are in. Because again, it's just a conversation. You're trying to understand what it is someone's saying and then responding to it, leading them down a path. And that works regardless of where you're having that conversation, which is a genuinely useful thing to have. How many of you in here are developers? I forget what colour the dot was. So for development people, you'll have immediately grasped this, that this is just text. But one of the nice things about that is that because you've got the same conversation, the same way of managing, of running that conversation across all of these different platforms, any refinement, any improvement you make to one of them works on all the rest. So immediately, if you find people are asking Alexa for something that you don't understand or that you don't quite do, you find out about that and then make that change, and suddenly all your conversations on WhatsApp are suddenly a lot better at the same time. And for those of you who are, how many of you have attempted to work out for a mobile app or a website or something like that why people have stopped working with it halfway through? They get halfway through a transaction and then abandon it. And you think, why has that happened? How many of you have run into that problem? Some of you out there. It's one of the bigger issues you have with things is if you can normally get statistics, things like that from people which will say, yeah, the funnel, people start working with our application and then they never get to the end. They never finish it. They never sign up, or they never make a purchase, or they never ask for this new feature or anything like that. But you don't really know why. And it's really quite difficult to find out why. People will show you all sorts of things like heat maps and eye tracking and so on. But if you're working with text, if you're working with a conversation, you know pretty much exactly why. Because they'll ask a thing, you'll know what they asked. You don't have to divine their intent by working out what they were looking at. You know their intent because they told you it. And then if you didn't deal with it well, at that point, you know exactly. They said this, we didn't deal with that well, Let's deal with that better. It allows you to iterate, to refine, to improve your conversations in a much more elegant, much more responsive way than alternatives do, which is brilliant. An example, just to prove this is not all just me waving my hands on the stage. It's not just theoretical. There was a chap in London who built a chatbot lawyer. And the idea behind this thing was that it would... How many of you have had a parking ticket? How many of you think that that parking ticket was unjustified? It can't be all of you. The idea behind what this chap did was he built a system to lead you through the process of appealing your parking ticket, of applying to have it looked at again, possibly overturned. Right? So he built this. If you got a parking ticket and you thought it was unjustified, you could go to this chatbot and it would talk you through that process of appealing against it. And 160,000 parking tickets got overturned. Well, maybe you were all right and they all were unjustified. 160,000 people helped by this thing. That's what you get if you apply an understandable user experience, an understandable conversational experience to something like the legal system. And because this is something new, then just by being involved, you're a bit ahead. For the developers in the audience, this is exciting new stuff. You're forging new ground in a way that a lot of people haven't had the chance to do now. If you're working with this as a company, nobody's going to write a headline which says, startup has a website. But Birmingham firm raises sales by embracing conversational technology, maybe. I can see that. The point is that you're getting to people where they are. Home assistance will be in 40% of all homes in 2018. Almost all of you said that you had about 6 different chat apps. So the point about this is that you're going to people where they already are. You're not having to chase people into installing your app or going to your website and bookmarking. You're not fighting for a place on the home screen because you're already there. Words are good. Virginia Woolf said, language is wine upon the lips. I don't know whether it's also pizza and beer on the lips, but we'll find out in 40 minutes or so. I'm more than happy to have a chat with any of you about this. Just chase me down after the talk. But I believe we've got a few minutes for questions. So I've been Stuart Langridge. Thank you for listening.
Really great. Anyone get any questions? Oh, hands straight at the back. Love that. Hang on, just got to grab this. So we're just recording it, by the way, because it goes on YouTube after. So if you could wait for the mic, I'd really appreciate that.
Really? I mean, yeah.
Hey, so what do you think about WeChat? Because that's been an interesting phenomenon happening in China in general, Southeast Asia being like this central platform for a lot of services, including money transfers, calling Ubers, and basically being an interesting implementation of your idea you have been discussing now.
Yes, so WeChat in China, there's a lot of this already. Because they didn't come at this from the existing base of the way you get at things is by installing a mobile app, basically everyone just plugged their thing into WeChat because everyone was in it anyway. So what I'm describing here is exactly what China's already done. I'm kind of temperamentally inclined against the idea that one platform should get to own everything. I like platform diversity. I like there being lots of different choices. And that's one of the reasons I talked about how it's easy once you've built a conversational interface once to plug it into lots of different places. But yeah, WeChat is a brilliant example of exactly how this works. Everyone just lives inside WeChat the whole time. If you're ordering food or searching for things, or you want to buy something, or you want to sign up for something, it's all just within WeChat. And if you don't offer a WeChat interface, no one cares about your thing. It's kind of like not having an app in the iOS App Store for the Western world. Everywhere's got the web, which underlies everything. But this is a new thing on top of that. And China's a really good example of it. So yeah, thank you for making my point. Excuse me.
Thanks, really interesting. How do you see the split going forward between the messenger apps and the home assistants? How do you see it all going over to home assistants?
I do not see it all going over to home assistants. One of the key things about home assistant is that it's at home, and currently I'm not. Now, some people bring their Echo Dot with them, because they surely most of the time you don't. But you'll see already that Google have largely blended this kind of thing. So the Google Assistant that you get on the newer Google phones, the Pixel phones, and the thing which runs the Google Home devices, basically the same thing. It adapts itself slightly based on where it is. So if it's on a phone, it'll show you a picture of a map, and if it's speaking to you, then it won't. But in general, that's a perfect example of how they're essentially the same interface. There's different ways of getting at them. So you've already got a phone in your pocket, but sometimes it feels a bit daft to pull the phone out and talk into it when you're on the train or something. That's perfectly reasonable in your living room, but I don't really want to be saying, Alexa, add this thing to the shopping list while I'm stood here on stage. But because it's just text, because it's just language, you can just type in a message. And that message goes exactly as it would an SMS or a WhatsApp message or something like that. But you're still interacting with the same things behind the scenes. Okay?
Any more?
Anybody else?
Sure? Last chance? No, I think that is it. That was absolutely brilliant, Stuart. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
A round of applause. Very, very good. Now, before we invite Adam up to plug in, actually, do you want to start getting ready? Chris, can you come help? So for those of you who don't know, this is Chris. He's another one of the fabulous team here at Innovation Birmingham. He is our AV engineer. We couldn't actually do half of anything here without him. Unsung hero of the team. So can we give Chris a little round of applause? I know you think it's just plugging in a cable, but how many times have you done that and it's not worked? You know what I mean? So yes, couldn't do it without Chris. No pressure now, Chris, no pressure. Okay, so at this time, we actually like to give an opportunity to a 1-minute pitch to some brave soul in the audience. You might have a startup you want to talk about, or an opportunity you want to plug, or maybe just your business. It's just a great chance to get some stage time. So does anyone want to do a 1-minute pitch? First hand up gets it. Seriously? Not one person? Oh, here we go, our champion. It's almost like I prepped you earlier. Come on then. Round of applause for this brave guy. There we go.
Right, I like audience participation. So with a proud show of hands, how many of you have ever been to the cinema? Yeah, that's the whole room. You can put your hands down. So I'm Michael, and I'm a storyteller. No, I don't tell children's stories. I don't write books. I don't even like novels. The kind of stories I tell are your stories. You know that we are so bad at telling our own stories. If you look at LinkedIn and read people's profiles, they are really, really boring. Your story is the most interesting part about you. Now, we do this in 2 ways. One, we create little whiteboard animation videos. So this is not a whiteboard or wireframe or anything like that. These are little cartoon characters expressing people's story and where they've come from. And if you're a startup, an existing company, or even contemplating doing something on your own, you all have an amazing story. So I'm Michael de Groot, Staying Alive UK. Share your story. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Chris, turning me down. I think you've practiced that a few times, haven't you? It's very good, that. Very slick. I like it. Okay, so one thing I've done, which is absolutely terrible, and I'm so, so sorry. I've not told you how to get out of here if we have a fire. So if the fire alarms go off, be assured they should be going off. We're not doing a practice drill tonight. I just need you to exit by the nearest, safest exit. Fingers crossed, it's going to be this main one just through here. And then you just need to all convene together out the front of this building, and then I'll probably be wearing a high vis and need to tick you all off, and you'll all be out safe and sound. Is that okay? Yeah? We're all right? Good. Brilliant. Now, over to you, Adam. You're going to talk to us about the value of side projects, which is something I'm really passionate about. So take it away.
Thank you very much. My name's Adam Davis. I'm here today to talk about value of side projects, really. I'm from a company called Red Eye. We're based in Cheshire. Again, not here to talk about my company, but why we should do side projects. So when I was a kid, my parents gave me broken electronics, like broken vinyl players, to put things and fix things and figure stuff out, basically. Probably quite dangerous to do that nowadays, but side projects are great because you're the boss, really. We've all got jobs we go to, and we're kind of dictated, or some of us don't have the freedom or creativity necessarily to do anything we really want. But side projects are perfect opportunities to do that. You know, we're the boss, so we can pick what we want to do. And side projects can be anything. They can be electronics, they can be gardening, they can be playing with an Alexa or a Raspberry Pi. But most importantly, side projects are about thinking stupid. So some of the side projects I'm going to show you that I've worked on in my presentation are all stupid ideas. I don't necessarily recommend you do these ideas. Some of them are inherently flawed. And potentially we'll do a little live demo at the end if it works. So side projects can also be commercial success stories, of course. Most of the largest companies that exist today, like WhatsApp, they were side projects. WhatsApp was founded by a chap called Brian Acton and his friend over a game of Ultimate Frisbee, and Brian's quite famous for going to Facebook for a job interview, being declined, and then a few years later, Facebook bought WhatsApp for about $3 billion, so he did pretty well. At my company, we try and encourage side projects through hack events. So Hack Manchester, if anyone's aware of it or heard of it, we won Best in Show for 2 years in a row. 2015, I was in one of the winning teams, and in 2016 we won it again. So in 2015 we built a Rube Goldberg machine out of Lego. It was quite interesting. In 2016 we built some shopping baskets that spoke to each other. Again, all random stuff. Not all developers here. The guy's got a great beard there, Brandon. He's part of the test team. In my video, there's a QA and head of product. So a nice mixture of different people there. We try and encourage side projects through hack events. Unfortunately, side projects, as we all know, we can start many of them and some of them fail. Time is a big factor. As we get different priorities, those are the things we have to do above and beyond what we're signed up to do as extra. For me, time changed a lot in 2017. So my fiance works for the NHS, and in January my daughter arrived, and my time completely changed. So when I was going to work on side projects, it would normally be every other weekend because my fiance works shifts, so I could have pizza and beer and have the house to myself. And then in 2017 that all changed. My daughter Nora's now the most important thing in the world. But that didn't stop me from picking up side projects. So my first side project is really with an Alexa device. So Stuart's kind of done a nice segue into this. Let's remind ourselves what these things can do. So these devices here shown in Amazon's video work perfectly, and I don't know if you own one of these, as Stuart sort of asked the question, sometimes you can be eating your tea and then next moment Alexa will pipe up randomly without being initiated saying you've got no appointments on your calendar, but you've not asked her anything or you've not asked her to tell you that. In 2016, she made this famous mistake when this little boy was asking Alexa, I can't remember exactly what, is it Digger Digger, I think, here we go. Not very good. So I decided to pick my first project to work on, and we've recently moved into a new build, and I really wanted to assess the security in our home. So I picked this alarm system. It's from Yale. It has a smart app, and I kind of wanted to make these two things work together. Currently, Yale don't offer the support, and there was only one competitor, and that was ADT. So my side project was to put these two things together, really. I wanted to be able to use my voice to arm and disarm my alarm system. Now, why on earth would you do that? Because, a burglar could shout through your letterbox, disarm your alarm system. You wouldn't. However, I wanted to learn how to program an Alexa Dot. I also wanted to know if I could break my alarm system. These are security experts. Surely you shouldn't really be able to break this alarm system. So how do I go about this? Well, I put a packet sniffer on my phone. Basically, that just records all the network traffic so I can analyze what's going on with the application that you install for the Yale app on my phone. And I could see that when I armed my alarm system, it was using this URL. And it returns a nice security key. This key can then be used for any subsequent requests, like arming or disarming your alarm. And you only need to know your username and password to do this. So pretty simple stuff. This is another API you can use to arm or disarm your alarm system. Really simple. So in a couple of days, I was able to figure out how to break my alarm system, by these great security experts. So to do this, Amazon offer a nice free service called Amazon Lambda. You don't need to worry about servers. You can make Amazon projects for free to a certain extent. And this is kind of what it looks like. Basically, this is running those API requests I showed you on the previous screen that I discovered by using this packet sniffer app on my phone. And yeah, it now secures the ground floor of my home just by running that post request, really. Yale don't pin this security to devices. This then enables all of the sensors in the house. I'm hidden in a room where there are no sensors. And there you go. Pretty simple, really. So in a couple of days, I was able to figure out my alarm system works and figure out to build a little Alexa app. I used YouTube, as most of us do, and Stack Overflow to figure out how to program an Alexa. It's really simple, very easy to do. There's lots of tutorials. You can program in different languages. So my second side project was more of a challenge. So I wanted to set myself a goal that I only had an hour in work at lunchtime, and I wanted to be able to reorder my last Domino's pizza. Now, unfortunately, Domino's have come along since then and released this as an official skill, but I like to say I got there first. Now, what this actually does is there's actually not a lot of code involved. So I said I only had an hour to do this at lunchtime. I used an existing tool called Ghost Inspector, and what that does is it records your steps in your browser and replays those steps through an API request. So I can say, go to the Domino's website, log in as me, and press the Easy Order button that's located in your sort of account page. Ghost Inspector is free. You record your steps, gives you an API call to call. You can make your dot call it. So my third side project is my fiance turned 30 in December, and I wanted to do something a bit special for us. So I decided I was going to make a film about her life, and that would have embarrassing pictures, stories from friends that perhaps not all the family had heard or should hear. So as any any partner would do. They went out and brought a 120-inch projector screen, mounted that screen outside, and then played this movie. But the movie was slightly different. I wanted the movie to be synced up with fireworks. I always liked the idea that you go to music concerts and they had all these fireworks going off. So I wanted to figure out a way to sync fireworks to this movie I built for her. Now, she didn't want me to show the movie or a segment of it for you tonight because some of it is quite embarrassing. So this is kind of some of the fireworks going off. Now, as I discovered, leaving fireworks out for a long time, they get wet, and when they get wet, they sort of act unpredictably. In that video, that looked really cool, but actually that's not how that should have happened. A top layer of water got onto the fireworks, and they kind of all exploded at once. But that was built using a Raspberry Pi, and it was PowerPoint from the movie. We were just calling the Raspberry Pi at intervals to launch some fireworks. So again, just a curiosity to figure out how to build it. So I'm going to try and do a demo now, but it may not work, and I want to put that out there. So at the weekend, I want to do a project just for Tech Wednesday to see if this would work. So this is my firework launcher, and I kind of changed it. So basically, it's a dishwasher tablet Tupperware box, of course, 100% waterproof. And it's got a Raspberry Pi and electronics, put in a reasonably cohesive way using glue and tape and string. And I made my firework project be able to be deployed anywhere, so it could be deployed here and use a Wi-Fi system. Of course, I'm not really allowed to set fireworks up here, so that's a bad thing to do. And I can deploy it anywhere, connect some fireworks up to it, and I wrote a skill on my Echo Dot device to fire these fireworks. So yesterday, this is where it might go all wrong, I went to my mother-in-law's house, and I set up 3 fireworks. One's a rocket, a couple of fountains or whatever, and I set the system up, and it's been there since last night. So I don't know what I'm going to do now. If it will work, if it doesn't, I'm very sorry, but I wanted to take a big risk with this. So I have my Echo Dot here. My skill is called Pyro. Let's see if we can have a live stream now. So this is using the live slide system. If you'll get off the Wi-Fi, we might be okay. Oh, there's the mouse. There's the mode. So this is a Periscope live stream from my mother-in-law's house. This may not work. Alexa, ask Pyro to arm the system.
Are you sure you want to arm the system? Setting off fireworks is dangerous,
Yes.
System armed.
Okay. So what this has actually done now, it's made the circuit live, so it's very dangerous to go next to it. Because the fireworks have been out for over 24 hours, they may be damp, the fuses might not go off. I don't know, there are 3 of them, so maybe one of them go off. So let's try the rocket. The rocket, we probably won't see much with the rocket. Also, because of water, they could all just explode at the same time, so I've asked my mother-in-law not to go anywhere near this area. Alexa, ask Pyro to launch firework 1.
You want to ignite firework 1, is that correct?
Yes.
Firing.
Can you see anything there? No? I don't know if the stream is working. Is the stream working? Yeah, it's sort of working. Okay, that didn't work. Maybe it didn't work. Let's try another one. Pyro, Alexa, ask Pyro to launch firework 2.
You want to ignite firework 2, is that correct?
Yes.
Firing.
So there is a delay with this. I'm not sure how big the delay is. No. Okay, maybe nothing. Let's try 3. Alexa, ask Pyro to launch firework 3.
You want to ignite firework 3, is that correct?
Yes.
Firing.
So it seems like there is quite a big delay here. I don't know if there is working. We might, in about 2 minutes, see them all firing. But essentially, Ward could have got in them. They've been there for 24 hours. If I do get the video of this, it's constantly recording. I will tweet it. But yeah, build random stuff like this. It's quite good. Unfortunately, either didn't see it or everyone's hogging the Wi-Fi, so I'll blame everyone else. But yeah, build random stuff. So yeah, side projects about getting involved and taking risks. So they don't always work or pay off. Maybe it is recording and the Wi-Fi is jammed. I'm sort of tethering my Alexa device to my phone, and then that's going through Periscope and things. So there's a lot of things there to go wrong. But get involved with stuff, build things that are crazy, be stupid, and yeah, get involved. Thank you.
Really good. I think what Chris was saying is we can have the stream on and we'll just keep it on there, just in case.
Yes, yeah.
Just in case. I'm a positive believer. Anybody got any questions? Any questions for Adam? Whatsoever? Okay, good. Here we go. Oh, if only I had a prize, you would get it tonight.
Very good, and don't worry about the failed demo. It really, we'll remember it forever. The question I have is, you're making it sound so easy with Amazon in terms of being able to code on it. Is it that easy?
Yes and no. So Amazon offer a variety of different languages. So if you're not familiar with one, there might be one that you're more familiar with. So No, C#, Java. But yeah, there's lots of. I mean, I learned it through a 40-minute YouTube tutorial. So someone's always kind enough to say how they did it, and just replicating it, rinse and repeat. So yeah, there's elements of it which are certainly challenging, like the invocation word, like what word to make Alexa respond with. There's definitely challenges with it, but yeah, I think if you watch a couple of videos and you play along with those videos, you can very easily get something set up in a couple of hours. And
they don't have to approve these things. You don't have to submit it and get it approved, because and what you've written for this is not available to anybody else, just you? Or?
Yeah, so when you're building it, you can do it all in your web browser, but as you're writing it, if you already own one of these devices, you can link it straight to your account by default. So I can use this physically as I'm writing my code in the browser window, which you can do. It automatically is available on my device, so my fiance could just come up along and speak to it as I was writing it. So it's instantly available on my Echo Dot.
Thank you.
Any more? Oh.
Hi, great talk. There's something similar called the Maker Movement, which has their certain spaces where people come together called hack spaces. Do you know if there's something similar for more tech-oriented stuff?
Yeah, it's quite difficult. Close to me, so we're based in Cheshire, my company is, and I live in Cheshire as well. There's Wavemaker. So Wavemaker provide a creative space to play with Raspberry Pis, Arduinos, and they have got laser cutter machines and 3D printers. There's a fee for using some of that stuff, but it's all supported by experts that are trained in those sort of things. So you can go along to it. Generally, it's sort of an open space, just like the library or whatever, and they'll sort of coach you. So Wavemaker's a great one. There are lots of different other ones. But yeah, it's worth checking out in your local area. Wavemaker for us in Stoke-on-Trent is great. Thought that was a firework.
Got another little question.
Not really a question, more that I can answer that for Birmingham. So here in the city, you've got FizzPop, who are a physical makerspace. They're down in Digbeth, and they've got, as Adam says, they've got 3D printers and lathes and all sorts of mad machines and so on. And for more software-oriented things, there's Birmingham.io, which is a discussion forum, and there's loads of developers and so on and so forth there. So if you want to get involved in that sort of side of things, here in Birmingham, those would be the places to go.
I think, sorry to interrupt, but I think it was a live stream that broke. So my mother-in-law was at the house, and fortunately, if this downloads over the Wi-Fi, we can see it working. So it's a couple of meg. Come on. there's not many times you can say your mother-in-law saves you, but this is WhatsApp. So this is live, by the way. So this is me tweeting a picture of me arriving on WhatsApp today, and my fiance saying, yeah, everything will be fine, and then, yeah, everything's great. Glad the fireworks worked for you. Oh, yeah. So just the live stream didn't work. So it looks like she's running away from something, so I'll probably give her a call afterwards. So yeah, be careful playing with pyrotechnics. They act unpredictably when they're left for a while. Thank you very much.
Amazing. So good. Wow. That is so, so good. Right, gosh, can you believe it? We've actually finished a little bit early tonight, everybody. This is amazing. I can smell pizza is ready. As I said, if you have any questions about tonight, or maybe you want to speak at a Tech Wednesday, we love having guys from the actual community come and speak as well. I think you agree tonight's talks have been fantastic. You don't have to be based at Innovation Birmingham to grab a speaker slot. So if you do want to speak to myself or Naomi or my colleague Kirti, who's busy running around somewhere. We couldn't do Tech Wednesday without her either. She talks to a lot of our speakers and gets that sorted as well. So speak to us and we're more than happy to help you out on that front. I don't think there's anything else I have to say. You know who to talk to? Pardon? Oh, next time. So next time is a bit exciting. We're doing something a little bit different. We're in the process of signing a new partner to Innovation Birmingham. I'm not quite sure what I'm allowed to say yet, so I'll leave it at that. But we are going to do a Tech Wednesday takeover, and they're going to talk all about what they're doing here and how people can get involved with them. It's all very exciting, so keep your eyes peeled for more information on that. And we really hope you come back. Any feedback you have for tonight, I'd really love to hear it. We don't just do these events for Naomi and I because we've got nothing better to do on a Wednesday night. We do it because we really believe it's beneficial to the community, building you guys up and providing you with useful information and helping you connect with other like-minded people. So please give us your feedback. We want to make this as beneficial for you guys as possible. But other than that, that is enough for me. Please enjoy the pizza and the beers and the drinks, and see you again next month.